What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Literal Lessons, episode 256. Not only is my inner focus still going really well, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, and I am so hyped. That's it. That's the pod.
I'll be cheering for literally any other team.
Carter doesn't want me to be happy.
Correct.
I have a feeling that I am going to be in the impossible hell zone of being a New Yorker and a Baltimore Ravens fan, and I hate both the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's seeming like that's going to be the chance. The game is still being played as things are going on. That being said, as a New Yorker, if the Bills are there, go Bills.
See, the hatred, we feed on it. Like I'm like the Emperor from Star Wars. The more you hate me, the more powerful I get.
Let the hate flow through you.
That's literally me right now. And if I was
the Emperor from Star Wars did die twice. So,
well, if we have to face KC again and we lose to them again, that will be very symbolic because that'll be me dying twice. Along with a very exciting day for me in football, we did have our first United States Regulation G Part 2 regional, and it was a pretty freaking exciting one. Like, I actually think that the whole EU can't cook, US can't play thing, last week in Birmingham, EU cooked a teeny bit. They cooked one team that was just balanced with a different combine setter. And this week, though, some of these US teams, especially just starting in the top 8, they cooked.
Yeah, they definitely implemented crazy on the meta and have really shaken things up. There's some super unique Pokemon on just about every single team. We have mirrors. We have this was one of the most insane tournaments, I think, historically. Probably things that we have never seen before ever.
Yeah.
So.
Did you post the top cut teams somewhere and I'm just missing them?
It's just on LabMouse.
Okay.
Do you want me to just? I got you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I was looking through our chat. And I'm like, I don't see them in here, so I'm assuming you didn't. But
no, what I did share is let's go and start with the top 8. We're going to start with the restricted usage. Top 8 is pretty much the set 8 that you can kind of expect. Miraidon, Cali Ice, Zamazenta. You have Calyrex Shadow, Kyogre only about a 1.5 behind Calyrex Shadow, Terapagos in 6th. This is kind of going with the trend from Birmingham, where especially in day 2, Kyogre had a better showing than Terapagos. Koraidon in 7th place at 6%, and then 5.67% with Groudon. Now, at first, I was a little surprised on the usage between Koraidon and Groudon. One of the big teams coming out of Birmingham and just bubbling up in general is what people are now calling the Chinese Sun team. That being Groudon with a lot of Proto Sun Mons, namely Gouging Fire, as a damage reduction mon with Breaking Swipe and the damage boosting with Howl. Groudon also, instead of running a Clear Amulet like usual, is able to go deeper into its coverage bag and run the Assault Vest to make it super bulky into Pokemon such as Calyrex Shadow and Terapagos. That was a team that I thought was going to have a really big showing, or at least a lot more day 1 usage. So seeing Koraidon have more usage than Groudon for me, that threw me off a little.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think that a lot of the implementations of the Koraidon that we saw this weekend are very similar in the structure to Groudon, how it was constructed last week. But the big thing when you're looking between Koraidon and Groudon is speed and typing into the meta. And what we're seeing a lot of right now, especially between last week and this week, is electric, water, ice being very strong typings, and Koraidon's natural typing has good matchup into a lot of the strong restricted Pokemon in the format. while also hitting them, super effectively and faster than Groudon could. Getting that collision course off in the Zamazenta before it gets an Iron Defense up, for example, is very important. But also being able to still also go for that Terra Fire and Flame Charge up to become even faster has been, also very key for the Koraidon, which Groudon doesn't get to use.
Yeah, it can definitely get into better speed tiers, and as we go into day 2 usage, you could see that the Koraidon usage actually increased, along with Groudon a little bit, and that there were a lot of top players who ended up going pretty far with Koraidon, further than where things went with Groudon, which is pretty interesting. I think, yep, that is correct. That was a Koraidon team, not a Groudon team. One of the other big things to note is seeing two to three things. The first is Calyrex Ice coming in at almost 25% of the day 2 players. It was Carter. Put your TV on.
It wasn't my TV. It was my phone. I thought I had it muted. I was trying to pull up our tier list just to see what restrictions we had at the time, like ranked.
So the top of our tier list, we had Zama, Terapagos, both horses, and Miraidon as the top 5, and we have again 5 of the 6. Kyogre keeps on pulling in. It seems like a lot of people are really going back to this Pokemon and trying to develop it more and more. We saw a ton of different sets that were different from the Escalon team that came in second place last week. That really was one of the stories of Birmingham. We saw a few players around my area really go and kind of go back to the roots with Kyogre, what we would kind of expect it to be, and 3 of them did insanely well with it. So seeing that at 13% is pretty cool. Zamazenta seems like it's in position. There's a few really good Zama teams running around. I actually picked up the same team that Fetty ran and finished top 4 with last week, placed second at a local last Thursday, using that team. So Zama's been like the restricted I've been playing with mostly. And the other thing to note is just another week of Calyrex Shadow just underperforming generally, and Miraidon also really dropped off. But with the amount of Calyrex Ice we saw, it was Calyrex Ice told Miraidon that mom said, no, it's my turn to play this weekend for real this time. And Miraidon could not sneak in a cheeky win like it did last week.
Yeah, it also comes down to the non-restricteds as well that we see it pop up in day 2, which we'll get to shortly.
And we'll just quickly cover day 1. It's kind of what we're just expecting. You have a lot of your balance pieces in your top 6, and then your speed control and matchup fixers in your bottom 6. A lot of these Pokemon are just have their set roles, and they're playing each role on different teams. One of the interesting things that they talked about on stream, I believe it was Gabby Schneider said this, that while a lot of your day 1 Pokemon and day 2, more so the day 1, while a lot of these Pokemon are just like the general good stuff that we just know about, and you're going to probably see like 3 of these Pokemon on every single team, what makes this format so interesting, and what we will see when we get to looking at the teams themselves, is that there's still a lot of very unique Pokemon that make up a lot of these teams that are staples of the format that you might not see on this day 1 graphic. And 2 of those Pokemon that I want to talk about for day 2, first off, Ogerpon's Rock Pond, and the second is Landorus Incarnate, which, Jay, you can take that away.
I called it. Told you guys last week when Miraidon won that Landorus Incarnate was going to rise. We saw basically no usage of it. And because of that, both Raging Bolt and Miraidon were absolutely rampant in Birmingham. We saw Landorus I really rise during Regulation G last time when we first played it. And it really, obviously with the introduction of Regulation H, it was banned, so it wasn't around. And I think that it's one of those Pokemon that sometimes can be forgotten because Lando T is such a dominant force in VGC, and so everybody, when they're like thinking about a ground type, they go Lando T, they go Ursalunas, they start going down. And Lando I is sometimes forgotten, but in these formats, it's extremely strong. And when electric types are so dominant, it's incredible. We saw a big shift in its Terra type from past. We saw, it used to be a lot more Terra Poison and
Mhm.
Terra Steel, but we actually see a lot of Terra Water, which is interesting
It's
considering you're using
wild.
it to beat
Yeah,
electrics.
it's wild to see that, hey, you want to bring this against Miraidon, but you're also like never wanting to Terra this thing against Miraidon.
Yeah, but like it also really helps out a ton into the Calyrex Ice
Yeah,
matchups,
100%.
and the Koraidons as well, who are going to a lot of the time try to hit you with a fire type move because you're a flying type. So I think that the Landorus, it makes a lot of sense. The Ogerpon is something I love too, and I think is really cool. It makes a lot of sense in the top 12 here too.
Yeah, the Ogerpon Cornerstone, a Pokemon that was a big Rock Fact Pokemon of mine, that I was very high on early-ish on in Regulation F. It's really taking its mold as one of the premier redirection Pokemon that can also not only play the supportive role by being a second Focus Sash on your team pretty much and acting as a redirector, but 100% stab rock damage along with either Horn Leech, Wood Hammer, or Power Whip. Like, these are big damage moves, and you can really invest a lot of offense into this Pokemon since you have that built-in sash. I do believe you do need to put like about 44 points into the HP stat, or you'll actually get knocked out by Surging Strikes through the Sturdy. But outside of that, you can go max speed, dump the rest in attack, make it adamant, or jolly, depending on where you want your speed stat to fall. And this thing, your support mon, can put out a ton of damage. One of the other things to note is the Pokemon that we don't see in this top 12 that we were seeing a lot of, namely Iron Hands dropping and Fergaraf dropping, and that kind of has to do with the lack of Miraidon we saw. These are two Pokemon that we mostly equate to Miraidon teams, and so as Miraidon play goes down from day 1 to day 2, probably due to the amount of Landorus that increased its play from day 1 to day 2, you're going to expect that those are also two Pokemon that are going to fall off from the day 1 to day 2 usage. And with that, we have our Lab Mouse, and again, shout out to Tim for having this all up for us so quickly. And what's really great is we'll actually be able to just show one paste and talk about the top 2 teams. Yes, it was a mirror match in finals, not only in the exact same spreads, teams, so on and so forth, but in the last names as well, where Justin Tang beat Shiliang Tang, a Tang in what equated to Tang on Tang crime, for Justin's 3rd regional championship, and his first since the spring of 22, I believe. No, spring of 23. Yeah, first since Regulation C, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last time he won was with the Palafin, I believe.
Yep, Reg C.
That is a Pokemon I have not thought of in a very long time.
No, maybe not, because that was Knoxville, right? That was his first win when he brought the Palafin. We were there for that, Carter.
No, I think he won with Palafin both times. Yeah, because Palafin, that was
Because he had the one where he lived on like 1 HP in top 4, I think against Alex Underhill, if I'm remembering correctly. This is like, if I'm correct on this is crazy ball knowledge. I'm just saying. But yeah.
So he won. It was where is it?
Because I think he lived a Sucker Punch from King Gambit. Or a Kowtow Cleave from King Gambit on like 1 HP with the Palafin. It was crazy.
I literally
and
can't
then went
find
on
it.
to win the whole tournament. So
Yeah, I don't. No, man, I can barely remember what I did yesterday, let alone 2
Let's
years
see.
ago.
I
Wait,
just searched the wrong Justin. I actually just searched Justin Knox instead of Justin Tang.
It's
So
because
he
we were talking about
won.
Knoxville. That's not a like.
yeah, that's not on you, brother. That's
Yeah,
on
so
me.
he did win Knoxville, and
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who he knocked off. Oh, it was Luca Paz. My
it was
bad.
Luca
It was the other.
Paz.
Yeah, it was Luca Paz
It
in
was
top
Luca
4,
Paz.
and
Yep,
it was not. It must not have.
it was Aaron Clemens in finals.
Wait, hold on. This is wrong.
You're thinking of
Is
Justin
this?
Karras in top 8?
No, this is right. Okay, maybe I'm just bugging, guys. Maybe it was against James Evans. Was it against James Evans that he won?
I think that was Fort Wayne.
Hold on, this is
No,
the wrong one.
Fort
I'm looking
Wayne.
at
Fort Wayne was Joey
this is
West
24.
Conversations.
This is my bad. This is my bad. Hold on. I'm looking at 24, not 23. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at 23 now. I'm trying to pull up my elite ball knowledge, guys. All right. It was probably against Luca Paz in top 4.
Yeah,
Was it? Hold on.
at Knoxville.
Justin Tang played. No, it was against Nick Navarre, and he did survive a King Gambit sucker punch into the Palafin in top 4, which brought him. And then he beat Aaron Clemens,
Yep.
who had the expanding force room team. Sorry, guys. This is
No worries.
Of all the
No,
rabbit holes to go down, this is not the one I saw, and like.
All right, listen. This
Should
is
be the one
me.
that like I expect, but
This-
it's not.
This is me. This is me coming out as a Justin Tang fanboy. All right, as somebody who witnessed his
I
first.
feel like we all, as a collective here at Littleroot Lessons, can say we stand Justin
Yeah.
Tang.
Yeah, Tang's great.
It was one of the craziest things to me because we were all hanging out watching finals, and
not me.
Manny not Angelo, because he's not cool. He doesn't
He
like
wasn't
enjoy
there.
fun.
He didn't get to be cool.
But Manny had pointed out what his username was, and I recognized that I had played in other leagues with him up to that point, and then we witnessed him in person win his first regional.
Weren't we chilling in your hotel room? We didn't. We weren't actually.
We were, but like it was in person because we were right next to the center, and we did watch top 4 there.
It was in person because it was us all together, not because we were in the convention center.
No, it was like a little party, but I was also literally, my hotel was right next to the convention
Might
center.
as well have been connected. I don't think I don't think there was like a walkway, but like it literally was across the street. So.
But
so
yeah,
this time with his third win, it's one of the first thing that really pops out for me with this team. 6 protects. I just love that so much. Just seeing so many ways to just click protect. It's just great.
Yeah, you also gotta love like Sandsear Storm and accuracy checks on that.
So that's the only no. He runs high horsepower as well.
Too.
So
yeah.
It's just
90% accurate might as well be 0% accurate.
It is, and that's why you mostly click Earth Power. But he did, I believe it was in game 1, he did hit a double Sandsear Storm,
yes.
which was pretty impressive.
He did miss a double Sandsear Storm, I think, in day 1 though.
Yeah. One of the things in terms of this format, I know we keep on saying it's like the mom told me to win format. And Shawneesh they've just been on fire. And I will find the DMs at some point and probably I'll post them to our Blue Sky. But not only did they call that Miraidon was going to win last week, right after Miraidon won, it's like, okay, yeah, Tailwind's Calyrex Ice is going to win the following week. And what do you have here? Not the Tailwind that we thought we were going to see, though. Roaring Moon is a Pokemon that keeps on finding its way onto different teams, using this, again, a very both offensive and supportive set by being a very fast Tailwind setter with booster speed, while also offering a lot of offense with both knockoff and the Terra Flying Acrobatics.
Yeah, it creates this really unique, game where you are both looking to play in Tailwind and in Trick Room, and you have these multiple modes depending on which team you're going against, which situation you're getting into. It allows you to play so flexibly, and the taunt Urshifu as well, which has
I
been
love it.
it was it was extremely pivotal throughout his run in the top 8 and in finals. I believe it was also pivotal on Shylang's. I think he ended up
Yep.
using it against a Raging Bolt for thunderclap stuff that ended up locking down their win. I think against Tanner Mask. So
Also, shout out to
it.
Tanner.
Yeah, shout out
We
Tanner.
will be getting to Tanner.
Yes, we
That
will.
he is on the list.
But yeah, the taunt is like it's so smart. It's not something that we haven't seen before. I think it started picking up a lot more towards the end of the regulation last time. But it obviously helps a ton into opposing Amoonguss and opposing anti-Trick Room stuff, opposing anti-Tailwind stuff as well. If you're going to go with that Tailwind mode and they bring Trick Room, it creates so many fun little modes that you can use it in, and I think that's such a cool application on Urshifu. It's the Aqua Jet always feels like a lackluster third move. Taunt feels so impactful.
Especially in this team where there are only 2 spore immunities in the Amoonguss and the Ogerpon. And as we saw, like in game 2 Shiliang went with the Trick Room mode instead of the the tailwinds were matched, and Shiliang was realized, okay, we can speed tie, but I'll go lean slower and go Trick Room now. And when Trick Room brought in the Amoonguss, and that first turn, I believe it was I can't remember. I think it was Justin had either his Landorus or his Roaring Moon next to his Urshifu. And he went. I think it was his Roaring Moon, and he protected the Roaring Moon, and then went with Taunt on the Urshifu to stop any more spores. And Shiliang targeted the spore not into the Urshifu, but into the protecting the Roaring Moon. And when that turn happened, I felt like all of the momentum went back into Justin's favor. Even though he didn't have the speed control, he just stopped all of Shiliang's redirection. He stopped the annoyance that would be Amoonguss. And then he knew he's like, okay, I can just click protect, get out of Trick Room, and just win from there. And that's exactly what happened in game 2. The taunt is, I think, one of Urshifu's best techs for teams like this. It's also a great tech where if you are up against a very hard Trick Room team and you don't want to play in Trick Room, you want to, not saying play in Tailwind, but you just want the speed to stay the same, having the taunt there to just stop the opposing Trick Room is super, super important. And it just gives the Urshifu a lot more tools than just hitting stuff. Do we have anything else on this team before we move on to third place?
I missed Hearthflame. He's just a little guy, you know?
I missed Ogerpon in
No,
general.
just specifically Hearthflame.
I know, because you're a dirty hyper offense player. Yeah. You love that +1. Honestly, Heartflame's literally just like Dietization, but way cuter and just more ethical.
And, you get to bonk people, which is way funnier than like cutting them with a sword.
Oh yeah, both of your stab moves actually hit when you need them to. You aren't clicking. You aren't clicking play rough and
imagine missing a 90% accurate move. Couldn't wipe to the E4 with that or anything.
You'll get there. Moving on to third place, we go to Dr. Dawe C, Rhode Islander, member of Team Roan, my USPA team, one of my dear friends in the VGC community, going up with one of their crackhead teams.
Are they okay?
Oh my god, absolutely. So this is the best part of the Chinese players. In my opinion, the Chinese players right now are some of the most innovative builders. I've seen an iteration of this Solo Dozo Tinglu Calyrex team. It was back in, I want to say like last April. No, it wouldn't have been April because we were in Reg G. Had to have been like last June or July. We did a Team Rhode Island get together. We all got drinks. We're practicing on Showdown at the bar, and Dawe came up and was rocking this and just rocked everyone with it. And it wasn't the team that they brought to Worlds, but this was always in their back pocket, and I feel like it was a really great time to take it out with all of the Miraidon popping up, and to an extent even the all of these Amazenta teams. Ting Lu is in a really, really great spot in the metagame, being able to not only mitigate the damage from the Flutterfish lead, from the Snow Zamazenta team, along with mitigating all of the damage from Miraidon, but you can set these stealth rocks to punish your fire types, punish your flying types, and get rid of the focus ashes. Sand Tomb punishes Zamazenta, who wants to stay on the field. Well, if you stay on the field, you're going to take a lot of damage and go down, and the Ruination helps that chip a lot more. And then other days, you just say, well, I'm going to click Fissure, and you hit them, and it's great.
That's just a vibe. I love it.
It really is. And the rest of the team is just regular hyper offense. The Ogerpon, the Whimsicott, and the Urshifu, you know what they do. This Whimsicott doesn't have the screens that we're used to seeing on a lot of the Miraidon teams. It's running Helping Hand instead, and it's also Terra Normal in order to be able to just play better into the mirror match with against other Calyrex Shadow. And Dawe also goes with Substitute as the flex move on the Calyrex Shadow. This is mainly to be able to get a different sort of momentum on obvious double protect turns. Instead of setting up a nasty plot, you're getting your defense up, making sure that the Calyrex can't get hit. And it's also really great into Pokemon such as Amoonguss, because again, you only have two spore resistances on this team. Having a substitute to stop Amoonguss from clicking Spore into you is really, really big. We ready to take some time in the sun?
Hit me.
Third place, Andrew Figueroa. Andrew's team. This is, Andrew was watching a lot of Regulation H, saw a Scale Shot Loaded Dice Dragon do very well in the format, and said, hey, let me do that again. And this is the Scale Shot Loaded Dice Koraidon. Came in fourth.
This seems very, very cool. I'm all about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like. And of course, the namesake of the Umbreon theorem, Umbreon coming in top 4 of a Regulation G regional, had to happen at least once.
That's the one I'm just like, that is insane. This is insane. What are you doing?
It definitely does play the role, though. You have your goggles, so you can ignore Spore, you can ignore the Rage Powder, get your taunts off, get your yawns off. Foul play is great into both Koraidon, both Calyrexes, which the Calyrexes can be an issue into this team. It just really helps all of the support, and just is another Pokemon that helps set pace of play.
And this team is
any other.
I really like this team. It's. I think that the Koraidon teams are at the beginning of this format. I would have said they were really underexplored. I think that they are very quickly becoming more popular and therefore way better than what they have been in the past. And iterating on them with this Umbreon and this Entei, and just having these other pieces of just powerful threats that can actually do something, or in the case of Umbreon, preventing your opponent from doing something, I think it can really benefit your restricted and being able to play the game plan that they're wanting to play.
Absolutely. And seeing and the Scale Shot, it kind of plays the same exact role as the Flame Charge usually plays on these sets, of being a move that gives you that +1 to speed. In the grand scheme of things, your Koraidon's not super bulky anyways, so the minus on defense, while it is annoying, isn't the worst thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is you have to hit your moves, and that is the annoying part with running Scale Shot as your I'm going to boost my speed move. Sure, you have the stab boost without having the Terra. It'll do just generally more damage, especially with the loaded dice, than your Flame Charge will do, but you're always rolling the dice when you click that button of, hey, is this actually going to hit?
Yeah, I'm
Like,
kind of all about this. This team looks really sick.
yeah. And we see a relatively similar team with Luca Paz in 5th place. The commonality with the two Koraidon teams is that they're using Koraidon, Flutter, Raging Bolt, and Ogerpon. The Ogerpon and the Raging Bolt sets are pretty much the same. What's really interesting with the Flutter main is that while Andrew went with a Focus Sash with the Icy Wind, Moon Blast, Protect, and Shadow Ball, Luca went with the booster energy to make sure that you were always having that speed boost even outside of the sun, and to make sure that you can keep that up there with Sunny Day on the Flutter main as a flex move over something like the Ghost Coverage, Taunt, or Thunder Wave, which we see other Flutter main run.
I think that's really smart. This team is obviously focused around having that sun up, and after we saw such a huge spike in Kyogre and just ways to get rid of sun last week, having a secondary option that isn't having to switch your Koraidon out and bring it back onto the field to get that sun up is really important. And not only that, but it allows you to have some really fun modes next to Chi-Yu and Raging Bolt, for example. I do love that these Koraidon teams are like, I'm going to use, these 5 incredibly great Pokemon, and then I'm going to throw on one glue Pokemon that's just like a funny guy, and it's Umbreon and then Ditto on this team. And I like the Sash Ditto. I do think that Choice Scarf, while being a little bit more linear and a little bit more difficult to play, that additional speed and on most occasions becomes very important, like knowing that you're not going to speed tie. And Luca ended up going out on what was like, obviously there was a Terra on the field, so Dawe was able to use that against Luca, but still like a really, really cool addition with the Focus Sash, allowing yourself to live that hit, kind of negating the need for that speed in a way.
Yeah, we have seen, even at Birmingham, we're seeing stuff like I believe we saw Goggles Ditto. Like, the people have started moving away from Scarf on the Ditto, because one of the issues with Ditto, especially if you're Scarfed, if you do get into, let's just say you accidentally switch in on or are forced in onto like an Incineroar or an Amoonguss, you really, especially with your Scarfed, you're kind of just locked in. While if you're one of these other items such as Sash or Goggles, you could switch in and say, I'm going to steal your Incineroar, and I'm just going to add a balance piece to my team while I have this on the field, and get a free fake out that you didn't account for because there isn't fake out on my team and you didn't prep for that. Or I'm going to go have that extra damage reduction between the Intimidate I'm stealing from you and the Parting Shot that you don't usually account for when you look at the 6. So I think that is one of the things with Ditto. You do lose out on it as like an offensive piece, and in the grand scheme of things, you do want your Ditto to copy your opponent's restricted Pokemon so you can play GS Cup while they play Regulation G. But outside of those scenarios, being able to just switch your moves on the Ditto is pretty useful and gives it a level of play that we really haven't seen, that we did not see in the first round of Regulation G. So that's another like little cool thing, as players are figuring out better ways to play the format now that they've had not only time to play it, but time to think on what they did in the past as well. Next team, this is more of a standard team. This is kind of something that we would expect a little more. Tanner Mask, his first top cut appearance and all the way to top 8. So congratulations to Tanner for that. running a more standard Calyrex Ice team. Like, if you told someone, like, oh, Calyrex Ice is going to win the tournament, you probably would have thought of a team closer to this 6 than what the Tangs put together.
Yeah, I still think that this team is like some unique pieces in terms of the Calyrex Ice. Like we're seeing much more of the Calyrex Ice teams having these kind of dual speed modes. This one you have the Scarf Urshifu paired with the Chien Pao, as well as like you can pair the Farigiraf into that mix there. You don't have the speed control, the positive speed control of a Tailwind that the Tang's Calyrex Ice team has, but there's definitely like a mode that doesn't really need the Trick Room. And then there's a more Trick Room oriented mode on the team as well. And I think that the Farigiraf with the Psychic Noise is cool to help into the Mungus, which this team definitely could struggle with a little bit. The Terra Grass and the Urshifu there to help with that as well. This is a somewhat standard team, but has like some unique options. I like the Scarf Urshifu a lot.
Yeah, I think the Scarf Urshifu with coaching is always something I think that this group loves seeing, is just fast coaching.
Yes.
Next
absolutely.
to Pokemon Calyrex. And also just getting your Chien-Pao to +1/+1 with that sort of Ruin boost already in play, if that Pokemon already isn't a menace on its own. And I think one of the other cool things is seeing the Terra Electric with the booster energy. Now, usually your booster energy on a team like this is going to be a booster special attack. So having the booster special attack plus the Electric Terra on top of it, you're adding in a lot of multipliers, where a mode you can play with this team is just I'm going to Terra Electric my Bolt, I'm going to click Thunderclap and Sucker Punch, and I don't care what speed control is, I go first, and shit sucks. You got knocked out. I'm just going to double up, and I'll have a Pokemon out. I'll knock one of your Pokemon out before you even make a move.
Yeah, Terra Electric Booster Bolts is one of the just strongest Pokemon in the format, just period. The Thunderclaps are absurd.
It's so good. Absolutely.
I know I haven't played Nat Dex in a while, but my whole team was made around like the idea of just the priority and how strong that is. And you use the Terra Electric Thunderclaps with the booster energy, and you just you chunk everything, and you can use this to then take advantage of like Miraidon's electric terrain as well. You take advantage of other teams' suns. So
and I know that like you bring up Miraidon is a great point. Raging Bolt has a higher special attack stat than Miraidon. And we talk about how Miraidon's always a walking nuke and it knocks everything out. Raging Bolt's special attack is better.
Mm-hmm. Which is, it's insane, right? Like, it's just so powerful.
Yeah, like, this is a case where it's, as you were saying, Jay, like, with the booster energy, with the Terra Electric, this is a second restricted on your team. And you can just you could probably win games just with the Bolt alone, let alone have your actual restricted come into play.
Plus, double Giraffe Core goes hard.
Love double Giraffe Core, long neck boy all the way. Moving on to 7th place, another Calyrex Ice team. This is our 4th Calyrex Ice team in the top 8, which is pretty crazy, especially with how it went last week. Again, goes to show this meta is going to change week over week, and you just have to know the call. And it looks like the call this week was Calyrex Ice and Sun teams. And this is an even harder look on Trick Room. And you see the Banded Darkfu, the Goggles and Deity female, the Ursaluna Blood Moon, which is Terra Poison, which is a pretty interesting defensive Terra, and of course the No Protect Terra Grass Focus Sash Smeargle, there to just make everyone's life hell.
Yeah, this team is really cool.
It really is. Being able to click Decorate to, we were just talking about coaching, clicking Decorate on your Blood Moon, your Ogerpon, literally clicking Decorate on any of the Pokemon not named in Deity just does a just turns all of them into restricted level threats, if not even more powerful. You can get, if with the Terra, with the Ogerpon, you can just simply do the Decorate plus Terra, and you're +3 with a move that crits 30% of the time. There's nothing you can switch into. We all know how powerful a Blood Moon is coming from Blood Moon or Saluna, or how much Calyrex Ice and Urshifu Single Strike can just snowball games by using their insanely powerful, if not broken, stab moves in Wicked Blow and Glacial Lance, respectively.
And Smeargle's toolkit allows it with Calyrex Ice to become such a dangerous Pokemon on turn 1, because you have to account for like 6 different options at the very least that can be done on that one turn, where it's like the Smeargle could fake me out, it could follow me, it could Spore, which is all 3 things that I'm desperately afraid of. Because if the Calyrex Ice gets into a situation where any of those things happen, like I'm probably not going to be too thrilled. But you can also use that pressure to try and take advantage of the opposition's defensive play by getting a quick Decorate off while the Trick Room gets set, and then get Calyrex off right away. So it's almost similar to the weakness policy strats we used to see back in the Dynamax days, where you would set Trick Room and click like a Brutal Swing with a Rangaroo or something to proc a weakness policy. But this time, there's no Dynamax to try and counteract it. You just get to click Glacial Lance and have a great time. So
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to wait like 3 turns to click your broken double
punch them.
like spread move. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just absolutely bonkers, and it's just really great to see. I honestly, one of the things that that's going to stop their next team, but it's good to know that 7 of our top 7 teams, none of them have Incineroar. And even some other top mons like Rillaboom doesn't hit. There's only one Incineroar in the top 8, which we're going to get to right now with Carson Confer's team. But like the first Rillaboom we see is in 9th place. Like a lot of these high-end Pokemon that do see a ton of usage didn't really get a lot of play once it got to the top 8, and that is because of how much diversity within each sort of these team archetypes there are. And Carson went with our 3rd Sun team, and this is a Groudon team. This is not the Groudon team that was expected. This is just Groudon with a couple Sun pieces, the Ogerpon Heart Flame, the Raging Bolt, of course the Jumpluff to act as your redirection, your speed control, and your general annoyance with Sleep Powder and Encore. And then you have Incineroar for damage reduction as well.
Is this Joe Ugarte-san? This feels like Joe Ugarte-san.
Well, we can actually just look and see
probably
what.
Just because of the Jumpluff, but like.
Yeah, I mean it is. So
like Jumpluff Groudon is just like, all right.
So Joe. Oh, a minute. Go boop, boop. Yeah, Joe pretty much ran this exact 6. He ran so he crashed iPad. Yeah, so like the only difference between what and Joe, I believe, Joe was a 5-3, did not day 2. The differences between Carson and Joe's teams look to be Joe was Stellar Terra on his Urshifu, and he ran High Horsepower over Stomping Tantrum on his Groudon, because Joe is absolutely and utterly obsessed with play moves that miss. The day the day Joe runs a team that has just all moves that will not miss, he's going to just XO the entire tournament, because the only thing stopping him is himself at this point. Like,
in his defense, that is a fair trade-off. Like that's one of the ones I'm okay with, because you're sacrificing 5% accuracy for 20% power, like 20 base power. Like that's a big difference. But as somebody who also has a very long and troubled past with missing moves, sometimes the best thing to do when you have a vice is you just put it down.
Yeah.
All right.
Nah.
And you say I'm not playing with you anymore. All right. Gambling is fun, but gambling is only fun when you win.
So
and a lot of the times,
no. There's a thing. If you're the book, gambling's always fun because you always
so
win.
Yeah.
side note, yesterday was my birthday, and my roommate's
Happy birthday, Carter.
Happy
Everyone.
my roommate's birthday was Tuesday, and then we have another buddy who his birthday was like earlier in the month, and so Tiff planned a trip to the casino for all of us yesterday. I did not win anything. Noah did not win anything. But one of our other buddies who went with us walked out with $2,000 that he had won strictly on slots.
Slots. Oh
So-
my god.
So
No.
he had a good time, and everybody else
No,
did
dude,
not. is
like
what I'm
that's the
hearing.
thing is like, you know, I played and I had a good time and everything, and just like when I lost, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I allotted my money. I know how much I could lose and everything. No big deal. And then I'm walking around and I come across him. He's like, yeah, I just hit $1,000. I just went and cashed it out because anything. I think it's anything over like 1,100 you have to pay taxes on. So he cashed out at $1,000, and then he went and won another $1,000 on top of that.
The only time in my adult life I've ever been to a casino, it was Amanda and I went with my dad to the casino in I can't remember. I think it was like somewhere in Delaware. My mom and their neighbor, who they're both friends with, my mom and them will send my dad and like my neighbor's husband. They'll just like give them casino chips to just tell them to just go fuck off for like 3 hours when they're sick of them. So my mom went and gave my dad casino chips to just get him out of the house. My dad's like, "Oh, come with me." Amanda and I played slots for about 30 minutes. We lost all our money, and then we just drank at the bar.
See, I don't like playing slots. The casino I go to has a unmanned roulette board, like roulette table. So the entire interface is all digital and everything, but it has like 2 actual roulette boards, so you can actually watch it run.
Okay.
And so it has, I think, 6 seats around it, and most of the time when my group goes, we will take up all 6 seats and just sit there and play roulette together. And what's great is most of us play like the same strategy when we're playing roulette. So like when we hit, we all collectively hit.
Okay.
I hate gambling. I've never been to a casino before. I just made my first parlay last week.
Jay.
And I freaking hated it, guys. I lost $25 in all of 5 seconds. I was like, "Oh, this will be great. I'm going to put it on the divisional round of playoffs. It's fine. We'll have a long parlay throughout the day." And then Cortland Sutton decided to not do anything. So, both my parlays went right out the window, right at the 1 o'clock window.
Jay, next time we're together, we need to go to a casino.
Okay.
You heard it here. He approved. He has signed the legal contract. This is legally binding.
I'll say what Carter says anytime somebody brings up an idea to him. You're paying for it.
No.
I think that's what we're doing. I think that's the call.
Gamble responsibly, everybody. By the way.
Yes, seriously. And if you have a problem, gambling on Pokemon moves is one thing. Actually, gambling your money, seriously, yeah.
And do not do it. Do not give your money to EA for FIFA packs. I did too much as a child.
Absolutely not. No.
I did too much as a dumb child, and do not do that. It is not worth it. You were literally throwing your money into a dumpster fire. At least with gambling, you have a chance of winning. So
we should probably get back on track.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple teams I want to bring up, and while you guys look through for teams you want to bring up, I'm going to look at a team that not 1 but 3 New Englanders brought with 2 top cuts and 3 day 2s. So friends of the pod and people who you've seen on the Littleroot record, if you've watched all my episodes, Stefan Mott, Chase Mateo,
I'm
and
glad you
Anthony
brought up
Londergan.
Stefan's team, because I was also going to
Yep.
want to talk about it.
So the three of them got together. Stefan and Chase were already, to my knowledge, I know for a fact Chase was, but I'm pretty sure Stefan was like pretty set on bringing Kyogre, and Anthony was just jumping all over the place, had no idea what the hell he was going to run. And Chase and Pengy brought him into their group and said, "You're going to play Kyogre and you're going to like it." And I mean, talk about a successful group. Stefan came in 10th, Chase came in 15th, and Anthony came in 30th. So all three players finished top 32 or better, which is unbelievable for a building group. Of course, not as good as the Tangs, but, you know, still pretty freaking solid. This is just classic Kyogre. When you... Before last week, when we saw the Oliver Escalin team with the Calm Mind Leftovers version with the Roaring Moon balance pieces, if you said, oh, I'm bringing Kyogre, this is the 6 you would expect. You have the Tornadus, the Urshifu, the Serena to act as your priority control and your threat towards opposing Raging Bolts, your Rillaboom to help against the Miraidon matchup, which they doubled down with by running Terra Ground High Horsepower as well. I don't know the calcs. I'll ask them for that probably when I see Chase sometime this week. And of course, the Stellar Terra on the Chien-Pao to really make sure that the Serena, the Urshifu, and the Rillaboom do even more damage. Yeah, this is again like this is just what you expect a Regulation G Kyogre team to look like, as like a pure rain team.
Sorry, I was looking through teams to try to find some more to talk about as well. Yeah, this seems very, very good.
That's what's
I know Pengy, I want to say I think he was 10-0. Was that right?
Stefan went 10-0, and lost to Shiliang in round 11, the last round of Swiss, got the bye, and then lost to Carson on stream, in the round of 16. So, and again, looking through the players he beat throughout Swiss, you have a win over Joe Ugarte in round 5, a win over Zach Weed in round 8, a win over Dr. Dawe in round 10. Like, these were some serious players that he went up against. Even Jackson Ferris, his round 9 opponent, we can bring Jackson's team up here. Jackson finished in 12th and was the top-rated Zacian player. Again, leaning really, really into the hyper offense aspect of this Pokemon. Running Terra Ground, Terra Blast is another way to take out these pesky Miraidon and Raging Bolt, just like really tripling down on that. Along with using Regidrago as a complement to this very Steel type.
Anytime I can
both
see
offensively and defensively.
Anytime I can see Regidrago do something, it makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I love this Pokemon. It is a goofy little dude, and I just love him.
I think one of the other interesting things with this team is he went and used the Choice Band on the Rapid Strike Urshifu instead of the Scarf, which is the choice item we usually will relate this Pokemon to. So I don't know any calcs. I'm assuming Choice Band Surging Strikes. Don't want to take that to the face, especially not when you're in the rain that the Tornadus can give you. Probably not great. So yeah, this was like another, I think, really cool team. I know Zacian was the like 9th restricted we talked about in our like tier A, and to see it put up a top 16 result is pretty cool too.
Actually, speaking of that, I want to say I went and looked earlier. I know I was talking about it. The top 8 restricted are the ones that like we ranked as top 8, just like obviously in different orders. So I'd like to say we know what we're talking about once in a while.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know what we're talking about.
We know ball when it comes to Justin Tang, and by we I mean Jay.
It's okay. Justin Tang is my niche topic that I'm really interested in.
All right. I think I know I posted like 2 teams. I think Jay's posted like 2 or 3.
Well, man, I don't even have the Discord open.
We'll just kind of fire these off in like, I guess, moving down in rank in placement.
Okay, just tell me the place.
21st, Michael Zhang.
Okay, already had that teed up
Hell
because
yeah.
I saw it was coming. Another Koraidon team leaning
Root Bonnet.
Just did someone say sunny days? Like this is the Sesame Street theme song pretty much. Like
It's a sunny day.
Sunny day.
I don't know if I know the
I have 2-year-old nephews.
I got Doji in my head, so
I have 2-year-old nephews, so I know exactly what I'm doing here with that reference. Yeah, seeing Brute Bonnet is a Pokemon of all time.
I don't know if you remember, Jay. You might. I played Brute Bonnet in Knoxville.
I do remember,
and it was the worst mon on the team.
We told you it would be.
Like, in reality, I should have probably just played Amoonguss, but God, I hate Amoonguss.
See, the thing I remember about this is I believe I told you numerous times you should probably just play
Yes, you
Amoonguss,
did. And I went, nah, that thing's stupid. I don't like it.
Literally every single one of us was saying that.
I think the only person who didn't advocate for me specifically to play it was Carl, and he knew I was just going to reject it if he suggested it.
Yeah. You have the Triple Dragon with the Walking Wake, the Gouging Fire, and the Koraidon. This Fluttermane is just going all offense with the Stellar Terra and the Sash. So again, seeing a lot of Sash Flutters as well. Flutter might start leaning more towards a fast offensive mon. Honestly, Flutter might turn into the Pokemon that the way that everyone ran it, like the first week of Regulation B, and before anyone realized, hey, wait, putting bulk in this thing is actually worth something.
I think the Terra Fire Weather Ball Walking Wake is insane. I think that is so cool. I did not know this thing got Weather Ball.
I actually didn't either. I actually think, now that I think of it, I also think Raging Bolt does as well.
Yeah, it's a little odd because you can kind of just run Flamethrower.
Yeah,
like you have the water type damage.
Higher base damage in Sun, then, right? Because it's base 100 versus base 90.
Yeah, it's base 100.
That's true. It's just more inconsistent.
Obviously, yes, you need to have Sun up then, but
you need that Sun.
But
so
having
it's
incidental rock and/or ice coverage,
which, yep, that is something else that you do get a lot out of.
Like it's pretty niche, but like it is a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time you're gonna have this Sun up.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're definitely. I'm definitely nitpicking a little bit here, and Michael Zhang obviously knows what he's doing. I love the choice band and gouging.
5 base power.
It's very
it's
minimal.
95 versus 100 for Weather Ball. So
it's like 5 or 10 base power. Yeah. But I like the band and gouging fire. I'm pretty sure I can almost guarantee that all the things that can be proto speed here are proto speed. So the gouging fire, the gouging fire is probably proto speed too, and you can just do proto speed outrage stuff. It's like Dragonite.
Honestly, I could see this thing being proto attack because you have the Icy Wind on Fluttermane.
I think you still want to be proto speed on this. Yeah, because of the fact that opposing Fluttermane, opposing Shen
and more importantly, like being plus speed with your Indeedee means that like they're never going to be able to outspeed you.
Yeah, you're going to be able to click follow me and get an attack off.
That, but
and also just stop the terrain.
That was my.
No, you have a ton of stuff to hit into the Incineroar too, which is like the main reason why you would want to run the booster attack. That way you can try to counteract that. You can just like use the Walking Wake on Koraidon. The Incineroar doesn't like to see either of those on the opposing side of the field, so
Also,
Yeah.
complete side note to the people at PokePaste, can we please get these sprites added finally?
Probably will
Like,
never happen.
never.
It irritates me. I know this is such a minor thing, but like it just I hate this. I hate these squares.
Yeah.
Angelo thinks Gen 10 is coming next week at this point, so
No, Jay, it's gonna be a launch title for
like,
Switch 2.
we're I think we're well beyond getting sprites on Showdown.
We're gonna get Gen 10 before we have the GX Cup this year. So
I'm just saying when it happens next year, I'm going to have a super cut. We're going to have a super cut. A super
next
cut of
year
me being right.
is way more likely than this year. Like,
yeah, no, I said Q1 26.
No, it will not be Q1. You are high.
Maybe like first, it'll be. I'll do this by April.
No,
by
April. At the earliest, it will be Q3 or Q4.
27th, Chase Liber.
Thank you.
Also, before we get there, just super quick, I'm assuming, are you going to do Adrian Hurley's team? 29th?
I don't think I had it queued up.
Okay, that's great. Shout out KD, 22nd, Adrian, 29th. New England's better than everyone. And yeah, there is that.
Jay, do you ever get tired of the just like the constant just Angelo just
I'm sorry my friends are talented.
No, that's not the part that gets me. It's the I'm fine with shouting out the your friends, but my region is better than you. Just
oh no, absolutely. I am a dirtbag northeasterner.
Hey,
I'm always going to think
I want to be very clear. I do not care.
Chase Labyrinth's team is pretty cool.
I have no skin in the game anymore, boys.
Yeah. This actually is a pretty cool team. Iron Crown is just a neat Pokemon.
Anytime you ever see Iron Crown, it's always on like Psyspam. So like having it here next to Miraidon is kind of sick, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to actually see it use its ability for once. Also, just some of these sets are wild. Terra Dragon, Assault Vest, Incineroar is just unbelievable.
That was the other reason I wanted to talk about this team.
Yeah. Yeah, like even like having just like the Ursaluna here, usually we're used to seeing even on these non-Trick Room teams, the Blood Moon Ursaluna instead of the Hisuian Ursaluna in that role. Seeing that there isn't Trick Room on this team, it's really leaning heavy towards the Tailwind.
Yeah, this is Cocaine
I wouldn't be shocked. Yeah, this bear did a line of whatever like happy powder that it had on hand, and it's probably outspeeding most of the meta in Tailwind. How fast can you?
And it's got Substitute too, which I think is just like a really cool tech. It's another way to take care of those passive turns that Miraidon and Iron Crown and Urshifu can really force sometimes.
I really love the idea of just like Miraidon going for discharge to like threaten a double KO and Ursaluna substituting next to it.
Or even just awesome. On the turn that is sent out, people are so used to seeing Ursaluna click Protect to make sure it safely gets the Flame Orb off, to the point where people will ignore the Ursaluna, saying, oh, I'm just going to be attacking into a Protect. And instead of getting the instead of protecting, you get the substitute off that turn for free, pretty much. And that's just another way to take advantage of the passive play and move your board state along.
It's like, well, I'm going to get this Flame Orb, so like, do you attack into me and like eat the Protect, or do you ignore me and I get a free sub?
And I will say, like, the second this thing gets a sub, it's probably game over.
It seems really threatening behind sub. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a Pokemon that probably, because it's insanely bulky as is, you're looking at base 130 HP, 105 defense, 80 special defense, and so it's already a pain to take out. get it behind a sub where you have to hit it at least you have to hit it 2 or 3 times already, making your opponent have to hit it in extra time is just really, really great. And just a really, really great tool to push your game state along. Next team after Chase Library.
Gary Keon at 46 is next.
Okay.
Speaking
yeah,
of just little guys.
I just went down here and found like some cool Pokemon and stuff. I have one that's 7-4 and then 2 that are 8-3 here.
Yeah.
In terms of the teams, I mean, we're starting to see a lot of like Meteor Beam Terrapagos, but this one has rock polish on it, which is I think really unique.
That's sick. That is some sick tech.
So I think the rock polish Meteor Beam Terrapagos was huge at Japan Nats last year. I know that Meteor Beam Terrapagos won Japan Nats, or at least like placed very, very high. But like that's been like a best of 1 Japan tech in Regulation G. And to see it actually pop up in a best of 3 setting is actually pretty freaking wild. Along with Iron Shreds, like what?
It's just a little guy.
And then there's also just like a Ditto here. I just think that there's a lot of unique pieces here.
This team is just the embodiment of they're just little guys. Leave them alone. Between Ditto and Smeargle and Iron Treads and Ogre Pop.
And Terrapagos is just a little guy.
He's the little guy. Like it's literally the little guy restricted.
And then you have the like Sunny Day on Tornadus too to pair with your Ogerpon, and I think that's cool. And it lets the little guy use his big club. Use the little girl use her big club. So next up, I have.
I'm a fan of this one.
At 49th, Lorenzo Arce taking a note straight out of Moxie boosted playbook and running Wochien Kyogre stuff with Grimmsnarl.
Moxie was at this tournament. How did he?
Moxie went 5-3, lost his winning in.
I think if I remember correctly, I was following him on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure he had back-to-back winning ins and lost them both.
He did. And then Bruno also had a win. Bruno got to his first winning and then lost that, which sucks for Bruno.
Hey, Bruno walked away with really CP. Bad. He finished exactly 128th.
That's freaking great.
Proud of you.
Also, we passed by them before we get to Lorenzo's team. Zay Zhang and Dr. Aaron Trailer, 40th and 41st. Yeah. Seriously, New England took over this event. But back to Lorenzo's team. That is a Wochien reaction, as you were saying.
Yeah, this team isn't doing anything that we didn't see, like the Wochien teams of days past, too. It's on the Kyogre, the Assault Vest Kyogre teams. You have like Grimmsnarl for screens to try to make that core very bulky. You have the Volcarona year, which is like a support set, and then you have the Choice Scarf Landorus with Sandsphere Storm. It's just like a cool concept put together. So I really enjoyed this. And then finally at the magic number 69th at 7-4, we have Timothy Harden with a Glastrier, Rhydon, Eternatus, Moltres Galar team finishing 7-4.
I actually posted one more that I think is even wilder.
Zach Emerzian underneath. Is it the Frostmoth and Necrozma Duskmane team?
I saw someone posted.
We'll get there.
Someone posted on Twitter.
There's so many cool teams here.
I forget who it was, but they posted. It was like, I traveled all the way across this country to play my friend. By the way, I lost to him playing Frostmoth.
But this Timothy Harden team,
is just very cool.
Another unique.
You guys are sickos for liking
this. Dog. What part of this doesn't sound awesome?
So actually, I will say this: I am a little surprised by the Glastrier set. We have been seeing a lot of weird Pokemon do like Iron Defense Body Press stuff. Glastrier is one of them, and the fact that it's just Taunt, High Horsepower, Ice School Crash, like they're literally playing like between between the Grimmsnarl, the Glastrier, the Eternatus, the Moltres G, it's like, let's go and play Gen 8. I don't want to leave Sword and Shield. Like, that's just what this team screams. Like, I'm like looking for the Dynamax button next to the Glastrier or the Moltres.
No. See, it's fine because you can do Terra Fairy Terra Blast on your Rhydon, and it becomes a special attack if you Thunder Wave thanks to Lightning Rod.
But
That actually is.
I have no
cute.
idea if that's even accurate. I'm sure, like at +1, it's still a physical move.
This is the guy who you invite over to like the party, and he just spends the whole time walking around going, "But guys, Terra Fairy Rhydon is the ultimate Raging Bolt and Miraidon check. It's immune to all of its moves." You know, like he's out on the street corner on his soapbox, screaming it, running the whole platform based on like his whole platform on it,
And
and
then-
I love it. It obviously worked for them this weekend. 7-4 is no
What I love
nothing
about this like idea is then it just like Rhydon sees Ogerpon standing on the opposing street corner and just runs for its life. Like Ogerpon or
Ogrepon's just like the little girl, like the
But,
little
like-
Girl Scout selling cookies, and you're just like booking it
no,
the other way.
it's just
I-
the SpongeBob meme of just like he's standing there menacingly.
So, I still think that this is more sane than the people being like, "Oh, we're gonna use Terra Fairy Pachirisu." Like this is
Okay,
this,
yeah,
this is the tech.
that's fair.
You know, but like I don't know. Like I thought that this team was cute. Good on them.
I
Like I
love anytime I get to see Eternatus do anything, especially Cosmic Power Recover Eternatus. There's just a sick part of my brain that goes, yes, do that.
and then
I did post one more
where
that
is
we can
this-
just like.
yeah. Where's this team, Carter?
Yeah, which
this
one?
is a 111.
Well, he. Okay, I was gonna say
come on, man.
before
Jay, it got CP.
before we
Right.
get there, shout out Yishin, the last New Englander to day 2. Again, goated. 111. What do? Oh my god.
So, this like quick side note. I follow a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content. Like, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh basically at all, but I really enjoy. There's a group of people that like content creators I really enjoy. One of them is his name is Farfa, and he has this series called Table 500, where it's just like showing replays of just like the weirdest, wildest things you could ever see. And this is like, I could see this being like Table 500 submission. It's like, yeah, you have some standard stuff of like Miraidon and Ensign and Whimsicott, and then you have this Heatran and Iron Boulder.
What does
Yeah,
Zoom Lens even
It
do?
makes your Magma Storm more likely to hit.
So it's just wide lens?
I believe so, but
Isn't
I
it
think
just
it's
worse though?
better.
So no, so it's different. So zoom lens increases the accuracy. So it boosts the holder's accuracy by 20%.
No,
against
it's even
targets.
crazier. Wait, hold on.
I'm reading it right now. If you
I
aren't
can't
gonna
hear
come-
what he. Yeah, I can't even hear what he said, Carter.
Okay, so
So zoom lens boosts the holder's accuracy by 20% against targets that have already used a move in the same turn. So the only time you get a damage, like an accuracy boost with zoom lens, is if it's attacking a Pokemon that's already attacked. So this Heatran probably has just 0 speed, might even have like a negative nature to make sure it's always moving last. But with that 20% boost, your Magma Storm and your Will-O-Wisp are always
I don't
hit.
even think that's
So-
true.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. It goes from
Congrats.
85, it's plus 20%, so 85% to, unless it's a 20% multiplier
It's
on
a
top
20.
of it.
It's a 20% multiplier.
Either way.
So it takes it
either
from
way,
75
I'm gonna just.
to let me. It turns it into a 90%. So the reason I got
It
excited
does.
is if you look it up in Gen 4 and specifically Diamond and Pearl, Zoomblins boosted critical hits. So that's why I'm just like, hold on, this is even wilder. But no, it like got changed in Platinum.
Yeah.
Dude,
The Magma Storm.
I was in middle school when that was the effect. Like,
Yeah.
When did
So
I am so off this team. Can we move on? Can we?
we're moving on. Chris, congratulations on getting points. Carter, what's the next hell you're putting us through?
Jay, there was no way you were in
I
middle
don't-
school. This came out in 06. You were barely born.
Elementary.
You were barely
school.
born.
Elementary school. Sorry. Gen 4 was my first Pokemon game, guys. If that makes anyone feel better.
129 is a Bastiodon.
Okay, all right, guys.
Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to show Bruno's team because he's our friend.
We can show Bruno's team. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this exists, and that's all we're getting out of it.
That's
Carter,
it. That's literally. I just wanted to go, haha. Someone played Bastiodon. That's it.
This is too deep into Carter's corner.
My God,
it had a winning record. That's my cutoff for like requirements. Is it has to have a winning record.
So I will say the one thing I'm curious about with the Bastiodon team is how many times Bastiodon actually came, and how many times Brandon Moses said, "Wow, I wish I brought a real Pokemon." Looking at this, so he was in position to make day 2 and lost his winning in to a person who brought Snorlax.
To be fair, he also
then,
posted that like game 1 in like turn 4 he had a DC, and so they had to replay, and he like kind of was on tilt because of that. So, like, I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, Bruno, friend of the pod, first guest on the Littleroot record, and one of the lead capos of the Trick Room Mafia. This is an iteration of the Tub team that a lot of the Tub Takes players took to NAIC last year. That was like one of the big showings for Electabuzz.
Where are you seeing he played someone with Snorlax?
It was the
Brandon
Bastiodon.
Moses.
The Bastiodon.
Yeah, the Bastiodon guy. Not Bruno.
Oh, I thought you said Bruno did.
I was confused for a second.
No, I said too. No. The guy who brought Bastiodon. I was on the side. The guy who brought Bastiodon lost his winning in to someone who played Snorlax.
Yeah, I thought you said Bruno did. I'm like, what? No, he didn't.
No.
What are you on about?
Bruno played 6. Well, Bruno played. Yeah, he played 7 real teams and someone who brought Screamtail, Psyspam in and thank God he did that. But anyways,
Sunroom. Don't discriminate against Lilligant.
Anyways, this is a very known team. Bruno also posted that he actually worked with a few of the Tub guys, got some coaching and advice on how to modernize the team from what was ran back in June of 24 to this new version of Regulation G. And Bruno had his best result at a tournament. He got points. He was a win away from day 2. And this is just another look at that very dedicated hard Trick Room. You're pretty much playing 2 restricted again between the Calyrex and the Blood Moon or Saluna with the Life Orb. And you're just using the Final Gambit, the Double Follow Me, the Fake Out from Smeargle, the overall bulk and support of Mental Herb, Farigiraf. You're making sure that Trick Room comes up, and you're then just going hog wild for 5 turns to make sure that there is no after Trick Room play because you won in Trick Room. Yeah, this is overall this is I think one of the most proven hard Trick Room teams out there, and it was just really great to see Bruno honestly just have a super successful event.
I want Bruno to make Worlds so bad. I do.
It's going to be tough.
There's no one I want to see make Worlds more than Bruno. Like, I'll be... Yeah, he's such a good guy, man. I want nothing but success.
He really is. Even just getting into day 2 and actually just being able to show and get that result that shows all the work that he puts into his play in this community would be really great. But yeah, that is I think that's going to be the last team we'll cover.
Just a quick note: the Snorlax team that made day 2 had Fissure on Snorlax. That's all I got.
Okay, well, yeah, no, I'm not even going to go give that like time of day. I said we're ending with Bruno. We're ending with Bruno. So just like a thing that came up while we're recording, this episode might go up on Tuesday. But if you're listening to it now, it probably doesn't, like, you know that what day it came up on. Our producer Carl is sick and is already he's going through it. So send Carl some vibes, because Carl needs vibes right now. So yeah, that was San Antonio. I actually believe the next. Let me pull it up. Pokemon. I believe the next big event we have is going to be, if this is correct, we have a Mexico. We have an event in Mexico, February 8th and 9th. We have Super Bowl weekend. We have the weekend after in North America. We have an event in Puerto Rico. And then I believe I think it's late February is going to be EUIC. So some smaller events, again, a special event and a Latin American regional. And then we're going straight into EUIC, which is going to be the major event of this regulation. And we will have all the coverage for you on this podcast as we go through the second round of Regulation G. Jay, you want to take us out of here?
Yes, sir. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the fun YouTube stuff. Let us know down below who is going to win Mexico City and why Manchester United is hopefully not going to get relegated this season.
Is that a possibility?
It's that bad.
Oh my god, dude, that's insane.
We are.
That is insane.
We are in 12th. We are in 12th place right now.
Okay, you're fine.
No, that was after a win today.
My buddy's an Everton fan, so.
Well, Everton is right around the same as us. I mean, we're not much. I don't think we're doing much better than them this season. We're pretty awful. We win a game about as many times, about once a month. So I was gonna make a joke, and I decided against it.
Smart. Take us out of here.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, you guys got me distracted. Watch yourselves. Make sure you come and join the community Discord. Go and follow the Blue Sky at Littleroot Lessons, and go and check out the Patreon and Discord community support links down below as well. With that has been episode 256. This episode has certainly been for Daddy, and we will see you all next week. Peace out.